What's up guys, welcome back to another episode here on All the Mods 10 to the Skies. And in today's episode, we're going to be diving into power. So diving straight into the power mod, we want to aim for this reactor nitro, but we probably won't get that far. Now, we need to be upgrading our power significantly because right now we are still running on the magmatic generators. So right now we're still running on these magmatic generators and you can see they're struggling quite a lot to keep up actually, and I didn't realize they were struggling this much. See, right now we need to focus on power and we need to focus on it quick, and to do that we're going to be focusing on the power mod. So as I was saying, we need to get 36 of these, which will create one chamber that will generate us energy. I think we'll do it in this place right here. So we got an ME, we'll have energy. And I don't know what we're going to do in these other ones yet. But basically, we just want to turn this into like a massive power area. And in order to do that, we need to actually get the resources. So in order to start, we're going to need ourselves something called an energizing orb. This is basically how we craft all these resources in order to upgrade the tiers of things. And I have finally changed my HUD, guys. I know a few of you have been asking for the past several videos and I keep forgetting. So we've changed it. It is now bigger, so I hope you guys can see it better. So to craft us this energizing orb, we're going to need dielectric rods, glass, and also a casing. Now this all comes from the main source, paste. So we're going to have to automate a few things here with that ME system, and that'll help us a lot during this mod. Okay, so we're probably going to end up using this recipe right here, using the coal. Now we do need to set up a geode farm for our the coal, because currently we didn't get one, because everything we kept on breaking was smelting because of the pickaxe we chose to use, which has auto smell on it, and it kept making us graphite, and we didn't really want graphite. So if we come over here to our terminal, we can start crafting ourselves all of these recipes. So the paste, we got to make sure we get the right recipe. Now we want the blaze powder and we want it to be coal, so that one right there. Let's get that. So we're going to make all these patterns. Okay, power uses a lot of auto crafting recipes. You can see right now our inventory is almost full with them. So we're going to start putting them in like this. And I believe someone mentioned it is quicker if we put them down. So if we do this, apparently like this, it crafts a lot quicker than it would if we put them in a row like we currently been doing. So if we put them in columns, going all the way down, it does make it more unorganized for us, which I don't like, and harder to find. But if we're going for efficiency, this is definitely the way to go. So this is going to split between every molecular crafting thing that we've got, instead of just sending it to the same one every single time. And this is not even everything. So all these, we now need to start getting all these crystals and all that stuff. But we should be able to make ourselves the energizing orb. So we control craft, it'll start crafting all of them. Start that as well. And then we should be able to get ourselves the energizing orb, just like that. And to begin, we're going to need ourselves 4 of these first rods. So where's the start rods? Right here. And there we go, we got 4 energizing rods. Now where these work, we're also going to need a point. Flux point. I don't know why we haven't got them all crafted yet. So let's come in this room over here. And let's place this energizing orb. Now I believe there's a certain radius where we can actually place these rods in. I hear a shulker. And I don't know what that radius is. So we're just gonna come up about 2 blocks maybe. And we're gonna start placing these rods in. Or not. There we go. So we're gonna start placing these rods connecting to the point. And then if we give the point power, by connecting it to our main. So now that's getting power and that will start producing it into this. The reason this is important is because it's going to make a lot of these base resources. So we need energized steel, blazing crystals, niotic crystals, spirited crystals, nitro crystals. And in order to make these, we got to use certain items for it to work. So there is a way we can automate this, and we can do that through applied energistics. Firstly, we need one of our wireless connectors. I believe it's a connector, not the hub. And again, we've not got this automated. Give me a second, guys. Okay, so now that is fixed, we finally got our wireless connector over here. And we gotta now make this automatic. Now we might actually move this wireless connector back a bit, because in order for this to work, we're going to need a pattern provider to provide into this. So what we could do is we could lift this up by 1. So let's get ourselves a pattern provider. Place that there. Energizing orb. And basically, the first thing we actually need to make out of everything is going to be this energized steel, which uses iron and gold. So the thing about this mod is, you got to put the exact amount of each. So you can see we've got 1 of each, and we get this energized steel. However, if we put like a few of each in, you can see it is not going to craft the recipe, because it has to be the exact amount. So that's something we got to work around, and in order to do this, we can simply just use pipes. So let's get our correct pipes. Jesus. So we can pipe into here using our import, and I believe this is going to import the amount that we need. So if we come in here and we do it to be ignores the content, do not post it. Here we go. The learning is difficult. So let's go get us this energized steel crafting. Energized steel in the energizer, just like that, and code it. Beautiful. So now with this processing pattern, we can just throw this into here and have that set to push up. Oh, that's the wrong one. So then if we come in here and we actually request energized steel, throw that up in there. Why am I not seeing energized steel? Guys, I found all the shulkers that I've been hearing this full time. Oh my god. Okay. Oh, great. We're now levitating. So, we actually need to stop levitating. So we didn't need that import bus there. The import bus goes on this surface. That's where I messed up. So in here, we'll have the energized thing. You can see it is right there. So if we request, let's say 2 of them. Let's send them in there. It will craft it. And now it's just stuck in here. There is no way to get this out. So for us to get this out, we can use an import bus. And we can just throw that right there. And you can see just like that, it takes it out. And then if we use some acceleration cards, we should be able to speed this process up of it extracting it. So let's request some more. You can see just like that, it is now putting it in. but it's put more than one in at a time, which is what we don't want, because by doing this, we're not going to be crafting any. We're still stuck on 2. So in order to fix that, I believe we can do not push craft ingredients if inventory contains. So if we throw it on blocking mode, it crafts, it pulls it out, and it does it again. And just like that, we're now crafting it. However, this is a slow process. Now, to increase the energizing process, we just need to increase our rods. To increase the extracting process, this is max speed and it is still going very slow. So we're going to have to look at some alternative options in order for us to do this, because the extraction is too slow for us to keep this just on a constant loop. Okay, so we've now gone with this setup right here. So we're using an ME interface and an item translocator. Now we've got to make sure this is pointing upwards, otherwise it's just going to keep sending items to the interface, and we don't want that. And this is all linked up to our ME system. So this literally insta takes it out. It is very quick. It's a very old method being used in many mod packs. Now the only problem is the energizing part of this thing is slowing us down, and that is because we don't have any energy whatsoever. We are currently extracting very little, because that's all we can extract, because we don't have the energy in order to do this. So we're going to have to wait it out a little bit, but once we get this up and running, we're going to have more than enough energy to last us the full series. So we upgrade these rods. And for us to do that, so we're going to aim for, we'll try to go as high as we can. So for us to get this first reactor, we need all this stuff. Now I believe basic capacitors, we should be able to make them. So we should be able to get this first one up and running, just based on crafting. So these starter, we can request 36 of them. And then here, probably we can keep on going. Now I don't know how far we can actually go before we need to get into, yeah, so we can go all the way up into the hardened reactor, in which then we need energized steel for. So whilst we're crafting this, we're going to request, maybe 60 should be enough. So that's going to keep on going. You can see right there, it just, as soon as we see it, it goes out. And sometimes we don't even see it. It literally just pops straight out. And you can see the item actually pop out here. But our energy is currently the problem. So whilst that's crafting, we're going to craft ourselves these basic reactors. So for the basic reactors, we can, they're right here. We need, as I mentioned previously, 36. And literally all this is just a bunch of crafting stuff. And just like that, we've already got the 36. Now to upgrade them, we're going to need hardened capacitors, which we need energized steel for. And a basic capacitor. Was I saying capacitor before? I don't think I was. So we can make all these. I believe we should have enough to actually start crafting these. And it is the harder ones. So let's request 36. And what am I struggling on crafting now? We're waiting for the rest of this to be done. Okay, so it is going to be slow, and that is mainly because of our current power supply. So that is going to be holding us back quite a bit, which is unfortunate. So once that's finished crafting, we'll be able to get ourselves the harder ones, and then to get to the blazing ones, we have to go to the next step, which right now we're using this energizing orb to create energized steel. We're going to be using the same process, but to make blazing crystals, and by doing that, we can just throw in a blaze rod, which we have a ton of, and that is mainly because of our blaze essence. Which you can see right here, we got a lot of blaze essence, so it'll definitely do the job. For now, I'll be back in a bit. just like that, we should be able to make our 36 hardened ones. There we go. So next, we have to go to the blazing. Now to get a blazing, as I mentioned, we need this blazing crystal, which means we have to make another processing recipe for this crystal. So whilst we're here, we might as well do it for every single one. Blazing, we're going to use the blaze rods. So with these patterns, we can throw them in there, and then we can start actually crafting these. So if we look for the recipe, as I showed you, it's just a blaze rod. Now, again, I think we just need the 36. So if we craft ourselves 36 of these, should throw the blaze rod in there. You can see it uses a lot more power in order to make these, but you can see the items are coming out. So we have 3. So it's going to be a longer process, and we also did upgrade our energizing rods to now hardened tier. So we're trying to keep it all up and running at the same time. But again, it all comes down to our current energy source way back over there, which is not doing its job. So once we do this, we then got to do the exact same process, but for the Niotic, which if we look at the recipe, it's just a piece of diamond, but it requires a lot more energy. Like this is currently 120. You can see just above my hotbar. And for the diamond, it goes all the way to 300. So it is a big jump. So we're going to be here for quite a while. Okay guys, so I've been just sat AFK up here. Phantoms can't get me up here because they have to go down and up, and they're too dumb. So it actually worked out. I didn't make it for that, but it worked out. So we've just been AFK, and I requested 288 nitro blocks to go. And they've done. Don't know when they were finished, but I've been gone for a very long time. And I've just left it running. Now I did have to take these Eclipse Ally pickaxes out just so they weren't using the energy, because they was using a lot of energy. But now with all these reactors, we can make ourselves 8. So we planned out 8 different spaces, so we can actually build a full thing. So the cool thing about this mod is you can see right now there's a highlighted green box. It automatically builds this thing for us. So if I just right click here, it's going to start building this reactor for us. And once it's done, you'll see it transform. And just like that, we can now hold 1 billion power. And obviously, we're going to have to power it with a few things. So we need coal blocks, redstone blocks, dry ice, and we need to put some water in here. And then we need our ultimate, or whatever it's this thing here. Uranite? Uranite. Yeah. So let's auto craft all these. And later down the line, we're gonna have to make a geo for the uranite. So right now we've not got one. We're just basing off everything we've got in the 7, which we have 74,000, so it might be, it should be alright to keep us going for a while. And now in here, it looks like a computer server room. However, we're gonna have to keep this going. Oh, and we never upgraded these rods. Probably why it didn't go very fast. We're on the 2nd highest tier though, so we're probably gonna upgrade this just for the set that we're gonna have to keep them producing dry ice. So now in the back of all these, you can see on each side they've got this little like dot thing. We can filter into this, so this will take items in. I'll pump out energy as well. So in the back of every single one, we're going to filter in the components that we need. So if we come up in here and we get ourselves some more Fluix smart cables, have them all craft, and I believe we need an export bus. So right here, we're just gonna break down every single one, and by doing this, we're gonna link it to the wireless connector over there. Now each one should only use 1 channel, and because we've got 8, it should actually be enough channels. So let's quickly link all this up. So first step, we need to fill all these with water. And we just simply right click that on in there. And then let's get our last 4 buckets out. Water, 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 and lastly water. Now this water should never run out if I am correct. And now if we come in the back of all these, we can place this export bus, and we're going to actually need ourselves some of the uranite. So within this export bus, we need to put it on export the first item until the network is empty, then try the next one. Export using round robin. So we need round robin, and basically what this is going to do, it's going to just go around each item. So it'll start with the first one, and then it'll go to the next, and then it'll loop again. I'll just keep on looping. So the block of coal goes in that top left. Redstone will go on the bottom left. Dry ice will go on the right hand side, and you can see all these are now full, and then in the middle will be the uranite. And just like that, it is now stored, and it's currently making power. We already have 10 million power in this thing. So you can see just by one piece of uranite, which is still going down, it's producing quite a lot. So in here, we can put our redstone block, coal block, dry ice, uranite, and then we can also give this acceleration cards, which will make it go a lot faster. And we just need to do this in every single one. And then we can start linking it all up, and then we should start becoming rich in power. Okay, so now if we link this up and we look in here, it's doing the uranite, and it must be consumed, it must be doing everything else because we're producing a lot of power. So everything else must be going in, I could imagine. However, do I even have any of this in the system? I do not. So you can use stocked items or craft items whilst exporting. Should this not constantly keep us in a loop of all these items? Or we can change it. Do not use stocked items, only craft items whilst exporting. However, we cannot craft uranite, so we cannot do the options. You can see right now it actually has stocked it. We're just not stocking dry ice for some reason. I don't know why that is. So we're going to go around and we're just going to sort all these out. And then we'll come back and actually check if we're crafting dry ice. And now we're producing infinite power. So each one of these is 500,000. So we have 4 million freaking FE just sat here. And that's honestly crazy. So this is currently just, this plug is plugged into this one, which is connected to all of our like base. So everything we've used power on so far that those magmatic generators couldn't use, this one alone is managing all of that. But we're going to take it further. We're going to link every single one, because we're not just going to have them sat here doing nothing. So let's make ourselves a bunch of plugs. Plugs, plug. Plugs, plug. And I swear I had this automated. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7 is what I need. So let's connect all these to my main power. Boom. And now, honestly, we should never run out of power. So this thing is going to constantly be going. And we can always change these and just make a new network just for the priority things. See, these things are constantly going to be going. And we also turned auto mode on. So it'll only start crafting again once it reaches 70%. And it'll go back to 100. So we're not burning through our resources that way. But right now, we're managing everything with this power that we got. And it is just taken out of this one alone. So that is honestly fine. And the dry ice is getting made here. We do need to fill that hole. Dry ice is still getting made here, sent into the interface, and then distributed between every single nitro reactor. And I believe we didn't complete a single challenge during all that. And that's because we had it all auto-crafted, of course. But we managed to get ourselves right to the end with these reactors. And there's actually energy cables for this mod, which is actually okay. So we can transfer a lot more energy using all this. But we now have ourselves infinite energy. This should last us all the way to the end of this season. It should not run out at all, to be fair, because currently it's using this, and once it hits that 70% mark, it's just going to instant refresh because we have the resources in order to do so. So, if you guys enjoyed this episode and would like to see more on this series, then show some love by hitting the like button, subscribe with bell notifications turned on. I'll see you all in the next one.